The world is not coming to an end. It's merely the false perception of reality that sustains the system of white supremacy that's coming to an end. However, sadly, the minds of some of our people are so indoctrinated with the white society's lies that many of us cannot see that its illusion is falling apart right in front of our eyes. Case, point, and proof. Have you noticed that most of the people that have been fired through the ending of DEI and affirmative action programs have been white women? This is not the outcome that most people are expecting. It's not consistent with the belief held by millions of people. Most people believe that the ending of DEI and affirmative action would have resulted in more black people losing their jobs. The fact that this has not been the case proves that the public's perception of reality is not consistent with true reality. Your perception of reality is an elaborate white deception. The distortion of the perception of reality is not science fiction. The distortion of the perception of reality is possible because the public perception of reality is actually shaped by the narratives that are repetitively fed into the society. Therefore, all that's required for the distortion of reality is to repetitively feed false narratives into the society. The public perception of reality will then become aligned with those false narratives instead of the true reality. This is what social scientists call the illusionary truth effect. The illusionary truth effect is when people have been repeatedly fed false information, and then their perceptions of realities conforms to the false information. Because the white population controls all the narratives that are repetitively fed into the society, they therefore literally owns the perception of reality. We view reality through the narratives that are repetitively fed into society. By constantly feeding false white exalting and false black marginalizing narratives into our society, white social engineering scientists and white propaganda designers have literally whitewashed the perception of reality. It's an elaborate perception management system. Perception management is a propaganda technique that involves altering the public's perception of reality to suit the objective of the white ruling class. This perception management system is so obvious that it's only by not critically thinking that it cannot be seen. For when critically thinking, can you not see just how cartoonishly unrealistic it actually is? That virtually all information that we receive from white sources favors themselves over black people. The rate that we're experiencing study results favoring whites over blacks is absolutely absurd. In fact, you can live to become 100 years old and never once receive a negative narrative about the white population and never once receive a single positive narrative about the black population. That's cartoonishly unrealistic. The reason for this cartoonishly unrealistic scenario is because the white society is literally falsely scripted to exalt whites and to falsely marginalize blacks. They even distort their published maps to make Africa appear 13 times smaller than its true relative size, while making all white countries appear significantly larger than their true sizes. It's a racist perception management system that's designed to create and sustain a false perception of reality that aids in maintaining white social dominance and white social capital over the black population. The white society sits upon a throne of white exalting and black marginalizing lies. Through their control over the narratives that are repetitively fed into society, The white population has literally whitewashed the perception of reality. The true hidden factual reality is that the group that commits most violent crimes, that makes up the largest recipient of welfare, and that has benefited most from affirmative action and DEI programs are in fact Caucasians. And in spite of cultural traumas wrought by the injustice of slavery and white racism, most inventions that have revolutionized the world were in fact either invented by Black people or were directly inspired by early inventions made by Black people. Your perception is a white deception. And long before the Europeans invaded and enslaved our ancestors, it was we Africans that civilized Europe. This includes even introducing the daily bath to Europeans. The white population has fed lots of false information into the society that has falsely boasted the collective self-image and collective self-esteem of the white masses at the expense of the collective self-image and collective self-esteem of the Black masses. Don't be fooled. If the oppressors were truly superior, they wouldn't have to distort so many facts, conceal so many truths, tell so many lies, nor work so hard to handicap those whom they claim are inferior. Your perception is a white deception. The general population doesn't know what's happening, and it doesn't even know it doesn't know. That's a quote from Noam Chomsky. If you're doubting this disclosure, it's because you don't know true history. Here's a little known historical fact. Throughout Western history, dominant societies have always maintained their psychological dominance over the oppressed population by creating fraudulent propaganda that falsely exalts the oppressors over the oppressed. This makes the oppressed population more subservient towards the dominant population. Social engineering scientists describe the nefarious process as merely instilling a value system into the collective minds of the subordinate population that makes them adhere to the authority and makes them support the existing infrastructure of the dominant culture. It's a true social science. What this basically means is to condition the oppressed to be more compliant with their oppressor's dominance over their lives. This insidious practice was never abandoned. It's precisely what's now being done to the Black population by the white society. If you're still doubting this disclosure, it's because you're not thinking straight. The white society has proven itself as being history's most racist and most narcissistic group. To believe that they would develop perception management systems for shaping public perceptions in ways that serves their nefarious hidden agendas and not develop one for maintaining their social dominance over Black people is extremely naive. In fact, if the white oppressors did not do so, they would be diametrically opposing their own self-interest. Because their unrelenting commitment towards maintaining their social dominance and social capital over the Black population necessitates that this system be deployed against the Black population. It's the narcissistic, racist people they are. It's the way they've always been. And it's the only way they know how to be. Those of us who are telling you the truth are trying to free you from a mental prison you don't even know you're in. Your perception of reality is an elaborate white deception. It's time to wake up and learn the social science that are being used for maintaining white social dominance over the Black population. One love and peace.